Hello everyone, I'm BryanCroiDragon and welcome back to Box Adventures. Well, since it's night time, I guess I'll do some reading. Brought it back from work. Classics Illustrated, The Count of Monte Cristo. Well, I got a little bit in. Now, what shall we do today? Let's go this way. So, what should I talk about? Well, I'm still reading The Moonstone. I got The Mummy Demastered on Steam. Monster Road Trip also was released on Friday, along with 4 DLCs, all of them new playable characters. So there's now 8 characters to choose from, which is a nice change of pace, because with Monster Prom there was just the 4, with Monster Camp there was still just 4, but okay, let me rephrase that. There were 4 colors and each color had more than 1 character to choose from, so if you wanted to be blue, you'd have those sets of characters, because, you know, DLCs and all that, and a character to unlock. Hello, Alex. I'll put this over here so he doesn't lay on it. I've been continuing with my Halloween movie marathon. Watched finished yesterday with Van Helsing. Gonna watch White Zombie later. A very good public domain film. First zombie movie. Of course, my personal favorite is I Walked with a Zombie, which was produced by Val Lewton. Yeah, the great Val Lewton. What, baby? What, Alex? Val Lewton produced horror films for RKO. If you don't know who that is, they were that was the company that created the original King Kong, Son of Kong, the Hunchback of Notre Dame film that starred Charles Lawton in 1939. Yeah, might know them, even if you haven't heard of them. I think they also did Mighty Joe Young. Well, yeah, of course they did. Both versions. The second one being a co-production with Disney. Now, Val Lewton was an interesting man. He would be given titles for films that would be produced, and then go ahead and make something completely different. He also followed the rule of what you don't see is often scarier than what you do. So it is often the imagination of the viewer that makes it so scary. Which I wish I'd incorporate more influence from. Because I really like that. I Walked with a Zombie is interesting because it's technically an adaptation of Jane Eyre. It's actually the only adaptation I've, well, no, that's not correct. I did see there was a stage production streamed, for the National Theatre. But it was the first adaptation I'd ever seen of the story. Yes, I've read it. But until then, I'd never actually seen an adaptation of it on screen. Excuse me one moment. I don't know how I did this, but I muted my phone and I don't know how to unmute it. Muted the notifications. So, I've gotten the hype ending for, Monster Road Trip. Only ending I've been able to get so far because, you have to make sure you don't run out of resources. It's really quite different from the usual. The previous two were dating sim games, comedic dating sims, and while there is still romance in this, this new one, you really have to think about what you're doing. You have to make sure none of your resources hit zero. The fact that I've only gotten one ending so far shows it's not as easy as you think. Yeah, this beautiful Mesa. It's quite the place, isn't it? Oh yes, I actually got 3 issues of Classics Illustrated. 2 of them obviously with works I've read. I've obviously read The Count of Monte Cristo, I've read the works of Edgar Allan Poe, but the third one I'm not familiar with. I've never read The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, but who am I to deny myself an introduction to a classic I have not read? Oh, I love the classics ever since childhood. Hello? Oh, there's the beef. Hmm. Hmm. For the my fallen angel story inspired by Dracula, I've decided to drop the Renfield analog. I don't want to have it be have the have every Dracula character have an. I don't want every character from the Bram Stoker novel to have an analog. Not going to be a John Stewart analog either. So let's see the analogs we have: Dracula, Jonathan Harker, Mina, Abraham Van Helsing, Arthur and Quincy are combined into one, and Lucy, so that brings us to 6. 6 characters. Is that enough? I dare say it is. Yes, I dare say 6 characters is enough. I do have a story inspired by the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde also. I'm not sure when I'm gonna set it. Maybe in the Edwardian era, maybe maybe the 1950s. Yes, Alex? Who's my kitten? The Jekyll and Hyde analog will be black, inspired by Tony Todd's performance. the George Utterson character will also be black, inspired by George Merritt, who played the role in the film stage production for the stage musical Jekyll and Hyde, and female also because Anderson was made a woman for the role of for the version that Tony Todd was in. Yeah, the Pool analog will also be black, actually coming from the portrayal of him in Once Upon a Time. Not sure if he's going to be a butler or have him be an orderly like in Once Upon a Time. I'm hesitant to have a black butler to a white character, but on the other hand, if both the employer and the butler are black, yeah, I've no idea. The Enfield equivalent will also be black, due to, because Enfield and Utterson are cousins and all. So it's going to be a bit more diverse, set in Toronto. The G-Cone equivalent is actually going to be named after a friend of mine, so he's Charles Cordy. And the Hyde equivalent would be David Scarborough. Scarborough being the portion of Toronto that I was specifically born in, and that many of my family lived in. It's even where the Toronto Zoo is. And I'm going to actually include the fact that Hyde looked younger than Jekyll. But rather than going for more of a person with dwarfism, Scarborough is gonna be, Cordy and Scarborough, they're the same height, but despite no, not despite, although not just does Scarborough look younger, but he and looked like he could be a son of Cordy. Well, yeah, that's basically. Well, if you've read the book, you know that Utterson has the theory that Hyde could be an illegitimate son of Jekyll, and actually keeping that. So there should be a resemblance between the two characters, but rather than going the dwarf lone person, some looking like someone with dwarfism like Hyde does, Scarborough's the same height but looks more satyr-like, and this is actually inspired by the Jack Palance adaptation from 1968, which was actually a Canadian-American production, so which fits in well with me taking inspiration from productions my home country, from adaptations my home country was actually involved in. Now, if you don't know who Utterson is actually the protagonist of the original story. So in the with my basically a retelling, you have a black female protagonist. Oh, thank you so much. My right foot is falling asleep rather than the left one. Hello, Alex. Damn. Hey, kitten. pay for a ball. Let's take a moment to hydrate. Excuse me. forgive me, I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment. Yes, I'm definitely drawing a blank at the moment. What to talk about? I should be finished my Halloween movie marathon sometime this week. After that, I'll move on to my marathon of Angela Lansbury's films in honor of her passing, starting with The Greatest Story Ever Told. Good lord, that's going to be a long one to start on. 3 hours 16 minutes, I think. But still, it's a good one. Though personally it baffles me that the most faithful screen adaptation of the life of Jesus is only, what, 80 minutes or so long, and that was using the actual Bible itself for the actual Bible itself as a script, and then you've got other films going for like, and then you have The Greatest Story Ever Told going for just over 3 hours. What the heck is going on with screenwriters when they do something like that? I remember reading that Idris Elba is planning to direct, produce, and star in an adaptation of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but for Netflix, or I don't know. That was announced 3 years ago. Is that still in production? Not a clue. It's going to be a musical also, but we've not heard anything about it since. Yes, not heard anything about it since. Now, my story, St. Patrick's Cathedral, is of course inspired by The Hunchback of Notre Dame. But as far as I've gotten, I'm sorry to say that I wish I had thought about setting it in the reign of Queen Elizabeth I rather than King James. I don't know, setting it during the Tudor conquest of Ireland. It definitely creates a different perspective than setting it in the reign of the monarch after the last Tudor. It creates a different atmosphere, it creates an interesting political situation. And as King James is an actual character in St. Patrick's Cathedral, so too would Elizabeth be, or as she's known to my Irish kin, Bloody Bess. She'd be more overtly antagonistic than James. And I modeled the character of William Gardiner off of Richard Harris, specifically his portrayal of Claude Frollo, which was in the 1997 adaptation of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which of course Canada was one of the companies involved in that production. It's very much an international production, so it would have made things a bit more interesting. Gardiner, how do I describe him? Well, I'm not going to. I'm just, I know, a bit tired at the moment of thinking. Not really. Let's go on with it. I don't know. I think, I can't remember if I actually mentioned this in the story, but I think in my mind, Elizabeth might not have been so much of a virgin queen as a lot of people like to think. In fact, Gardiner might have actually been her lover. And keep in mind, Gardiner is actually Irish. His parents, victims of the Tudor conquest. So it kind of makes the man a hypocrite. Maybe a sellout, if that's how you view him. And keep in mind, the man's a priest. A corrupt one. But it might actually just be, in the universe it might just be a rumor, so I don't know. And if I had gone ahead and said it during the reign of Elizabeth, I would have had that rumor be heavily involved. And actually have suggestion that he might have even been the lover of her half-sister, Queen Mary, as well. Who, of course, was married to Philip of Spain. Yeah, I don't like the Tudors. The only good one had been Henry VII, and he'd never done anything so vile in Ireland. So you really can't make a villain out of him. Hello, Alex. Hi. Who's my kitten? Can you lay down, please? Sit down, one of the two. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Well, how far will we get? I don't know, we're in the middle of the sea. Where are we going? Just rest. A journey to the west. At least until it's time to end the recording. Hmm? What land is this? It's a land we are passing. You are a good kitten, Alex. More land we're passing by. And that would be all for today. I'm BryanCroiDragon signing out. Stay straight.